The second step on the path toward riches is faith. We can describe faith as the head chemist of the mind. When the element of faith is blended with the energy of a thought, the subconscious mind immediately captures this vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and then transmits it to a higher, infinite intelligence. This process is remarkably similar to the mechanism of prayer. The emotions of faith, love, and physical desire are the most powerful among all major positive emotions. When these three are combined, they have the effect of coloring the vibration of a thought in such a way that it instantly penetrates the subconscious mind. There, it is converted into its spiritual counterpart, the only form of energy that can induce a direct response from the infinite intelligence that connects all things. Faith is a state of mind that can be consciously induced or created through repeated affirmations or instructions directed to the subconscious mind. This is accomplished through the principle known as autosuggestion. It is a fundamental truth that has been understood and applied by all great achievers, whether they were consciously aware of the principle or not. Any impulse of thought that is repeatedly passed on to the subconscious mind is eventually accepted by it and acted upon. The subconscious mind will then proceed to translate that impulse into its physical counterpart. Using the most direct and practical means available to it. In this context, let us reconsider the 6 practical steps that were detailed in the previous chapter on desire. The final and most crucial step in that process instructs you to read your written statement of purpose aloud twice a day, and to see and feel yourself as if you are already in possession of your goal. By diligently following this instruction, you are effectively communicating the object of your desire directly to your subconscious mind in a language that it understands and accepts. Through the persistent repetition of this procedure, you can voluntarily cultivate the state of mind we identify as faith. This faith is not some mystical quality bestowed only upon a chosen few. It is a state of mind that you can develop at will once you have mastered the 13 principles outlined in this work. This is because faith is the natural outcome that grows from the consistent application and use of these principles. To state it another way, you can cultivate deep, abiding faith by persistently feeding your subconscious mind with affirmations and instructions. You can instruct it to believe that you have the inherent power to achieve your definite purpose in life. And over time, your subconscious will accept this as its reality. Perhaps the concept will become clearer through the following explanation of how individuals sometimes find themselves in possession of great wealth or opportunity, seemingly by chance. The reality is that millions of people hold the deep-seated belief that they are doomed to a life of poverty and failure. They feel trapped by some strange external force over which they believe they have no control. In truth, they are the primary creators of their own misfortunes. This occurs because their negative belief is absorbed by their subconscious mind, which then diligently works to translate that belief into its physical equivalent in their daily lives. This is a fitting moment to offer a critical suggestion. Your subconscious mind will translate into physical reality a thought impulse of a negative or destructive nature just as readily and willingly as it will act upon a thought impulse of a positive or constructive nature. This single fact explains the perplexing phenomenon that so many, millions of people experience and refer to as misfortune or bad luck. There are countless people who believe they are bound by poverty and failure. And because the subconscious mind acts upon the beliefs it is fed, it creates the very conditions that confirm this belief. It is of paramount importance to understand that you can just as easily command your subconscious mind to act upon a belief in success, prosperity, and purpose. You accomplish this by presenting it with a clear, emotionally charged picture of what you desire. A practice we call auto-suggestion. The subconscious mind never remains idle. It is perpetually active. If you fail to consciously plant the seeds of your desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts that drift in as a result of your neglect. Stray thoughts from your environment, from conversations you overhear, or from the news you consume will find their way into this fertile ground and begin to grow, whether they are beneficial to you or not. Ultimately, we are what we are because of the dominating thoughts we permit to occupy our minds. Those thoughts which a person deliberately places in their own mind, nurtures with feeling and sympathy, and mixes with one or more of the emotions, become the powerful motivating forces that direct and control their every movement, action, and deed. A thought, when it is energized by faith, becomes a potent creative force. Conversely, thoughts that are not mixed with any kind of emotion are generally powerless and inert. There are no such things as unlucky breaks in the grand scheme of things. A person's breaks, whether good or bad, are of their own making. These breaks are the direct result of their dominating thought-habits. Faith is the foundation of all so-called miracles and of all mysteries that cannot be analyzed by the rigid rules of science. Faith is the only known antidote to failure. Faith is the essential element, the chemical which, when blended with prayer, gives an individual a direct line of communication with infinite intelligence. Faith is the element that transforms the ordinary vibration of thought, created by the finite mind of a human, into its spiritual and infinitely more powerful equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and put to use by humankind. Every single one of the preceding statements is capable of proof. The proof of these statements is both simple and easily demonstrated. It is entirely wrapped up in the principle of autosuggestion. Therefore, let us center our attention on the subject of autosuggestion and explore what it is and what it is capable of achieving for us. Autosuggestion is a term that applies to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli which reach one's mind through the five senses. Stated another way, it is the principle of self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind, through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind. The principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. Nature has so built humanity that we have absolute control over the material which reaches our subconscious mind through our five senses. However, this does not mean that everyone exercises this control. In the great majority of instances, people do not exercise this control, which explains why so many people go through life in poverty and misery. Recall what has been said about the subconscious mind resembling a fertile garden spot, where weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds of more desirable crops are not sown. Autosuggestion is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed their subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature, or, by neglect, permit thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into this rich garden of the mind. You were instructed, in the last of the 6 steps from the chapter on desire, to read your written statement aloud twice daily. In those instructions, you were also told to see and feel yourself already in possession of your goal. By following these instructions, you are applying the principle of autosuggestion. Remember, your subconscious mind acts only upon thoughts that have been mixed with emotion or feeling. Faith is the strongest and most productive of the emotions. Therefore, when you read your statement of desire, the mere reading of the words is of no consequence unless you mix emotion or feeling with your words. Your subconscious mind recognizes and acts only upon thoughts which have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. This is a fact of such importance as to warrant repetition in almost every chapter. Your failure to follow this instruction is the main reason The majority of people who try to apply the principle of autosuggestion get no desirable results. Plain, unemotional words do not influence the subconscious mind. You will get no appreciable results until you learn to reach your subconscious mind with thoughts or spoken words which have been well emotionalized with belief. Do not become discouraged if you cannot control and direct your emotions the first time you try to do so. Remember, there is no such possibility as something for nothing. Ability does not come without a price. You must pay the price of persistence if you wish to influence your subconscious mind. You cannot cheat, even if you wish to do so. The price of the ability to influence your subconscious mind is eternal persistence in applying the principles described here. You cannot develop the desired ability for a lower price. You, and you alone, must decide whether the reward for which you are striving is worth the price you must pay for it in effort. Your intelligence and wisdom will have nothing to do with it. One does not need a great education to apply this principle. It has nothing to do with your formal schooling. To help you give your thoughts the necessary emotional life, here is a formula you can follow as you practice. When you read your statement of desire, let this be a guide. See yourself, with your eyes closed, as already having the money or the object of your goal. Then, combine this with a conscious effort to perform a definite service in return. The instructions given in the chapter on desire have now been summarized and blended with the principles covered in this chapter. As follows: first, go to some quiet spot, perhaps in bed at night, where you will not be disturbed or interrupted. Close your eyes and repeat aloud the written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit, and the description of the service you intend to give in return. As you carry out these instructions, see yourself already in possession of the money that second. Repeat this program night and morning until you can see, in your imagination, the money you intend to accumulate that third. Place a written copy of your statement where you can see it night and morning, and read it just before retiring and upon arising until it has been memorized in following these instructions. Remember that you are applying the principle of autosuggestion for the purpose of giving orders to your subconscious mind. And remember also that your subconscious mind will act only upon instructions which are emotionalized and which are handed over to it with feeling. Faith is the strongest and most important of the emotions. These instructions are not abstract. They are the path to cultivating that very faith. At first, these instructions may seem abstract. Do not let this disturb you. Simply follow the instructions, no matter how abstract or impractical they may appear to be at the moment. The time will soon come when, if you have been diligent, a new universe of power will unfold to you. Skepticism in connection with all new ideas is a human characteristic. But if you follow the instructions given, your skepticism will soon be replaced by belief, and this, in time, will crystallize into absolute faith. Many philosophers have made the statement that humanity is the master of their own earthly destiny, but most have failed to say why. The reason we are the masters of our earthly destiny is because we have the power to influence our own subconscious minds. This is the most significant and inspiring of all facts known to humanity. It is the very principle that makes the command, "Be not conformed to this world, but be the transformed by the renewing of your mind," a practical reality. This truth, when you truly grasp it, lifts you from a state of passive acceptance to one of conscious creation. It also gives you a new understanding of the power of prayer. Prayer is, in essence, the act of impressing a definite desire upon the subconscious mind, which then connects with a higher, infinite intelligence capable of transmuting that desire into its physical reality. But to truly command your subconscious, you must first have confidence in yourself. Self-confidence is the bedrock of faith. Here is a 5-point formula designed to build that essential self-confidence. Commit it to memory and repeat it aloud once daily. This practice will gradually infuse your thoughts with an authority that your subconscious mind will accept. Self-confidence formula. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. Second, I realize that the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward, physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion that any desire I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless it is built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude toward others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me, because I will believe in them and in myself. This formula is your tool for changing the direction of your thought habits. Behind this formula is a law of nature which no one has yet been able to explain. It is as mysterious as the nature of electricity. The psychologists who named it autosuggestion have not explained why it works, only that it does work, that your subconscious mind is a field of consciousness. It makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It will work with the material you feed it, whether that material is driven by faith or by fear. Just as electricity will turn the wheels of industry or take a life, depending on how it is applied, the law of autosuggestion will lift you up or pull you down, according to the way you orient your thoughts. If you feed your subconscious mind with thoughts of fear, doubt, and failure, it will accept these thoughts and create a reality that reflects them. You will, in essence, be pulled downward into failure. But if you feed it thoughts of courage, faith, and purpose, your subconscious mind will embrace these vibrations, translating them into their physical equivalent. History is filled with evidence of this truth. The great leaders of civilization have been men and women who understood how to harness the positive, constructive power of their subconscious minds. Conversely, history is also littered with the wreckage of those who, through ignorance or neglect, allowed fear, doubt, and negativity to poison this inner garden. Therefore, it is essential to be mindful of what you allow to enter your consciousness. We are living in an age where negative stimuli are everywhere. The media and even casual conversations are often filled with fear, worry, and criticism. If you are not vigilant, these destructive impulses will find their way into your mind and begin to dismantle your faith. This is why you must stand guard at the entrance to your mind, consciously choosing to feed it with the powerful, positive, and purposeful thoughts found in the self-confidence formula. Part 4 of 4. This is a fitting place to examine a truth that is as profound as it is often overlooked. All thoughts which have been emotionalized or mixed with feeling and then planted in the mind with faith begin immediately to transmute themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart. This is a law of the universe. It is the same law that dictates that water will find its own level, or that a tree will grow from a seed. A thought impulse, particularly one of faith, is a seed. When planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind, it begins to germinate and grow. It attracts and draws to itself everything needed for its full expression. Millions of people go through life believing that they are poor or unlucky because of forces outside their control. They are not aware that the very riches they seek are all around them, in the form of thoughts and ideas waiting to be claimed. Wealth, in its initial form, is nothing more than an impulse of thought. It is an idea. This intangible idea must then be given life and action through the application of the principles we are discussing. The starting point is to magnetize your mind with an intense, burning desire for a definite form of wealth. You must become money conscious until the desire for money drives you to create a definite plan for acquiring it. But this consciousness alone is not enough. It must be backed by unwavering faith. You must believe in your plan and in your ability to carry it out. Faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. It is the catalyst that activates the creative power of the subconscious mind. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. It is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be explained by science. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. It is the chemical element which, when blended with prayer, gives us a direct connection to a higher, infinite intelligence. Faith is what transforms the finite, ordinary thought of a human mind into its infinite, spiritual counterpart. This is a power that is available to you. Through the practice of autosuggestion and the repetition of the self-confidence formula, you can develop this faith, even if you do not possess it at this moment. You can, in effect, instruct your subconscious mind to create it for you. Your subconscious mind will act upon the orders you give it. If you give those orders with persistence, authority, and emotion. Consider the spectacular story of the formation of the giant United States Steel Corporation. It is a perfect illustration of the power of an idea, backed by desire and faith. This colossal enterprise, the world's first billion-dollar corporation, was born in the mind of one man, Charles M. Schwab. His idea was not just a passing thought. It was a deeply held conviction, an idea he had nurtured, tested, and believed in with all his heart. Schwab delivered a speech in New York in which he laid out his grand vision. He did not speak of dry logistics. He spoke with the fire of his conviction. He painted a picture of a new industrial future. His faith was so tangible and compelling that it captured the imagination of the legendary financier J.P. Morgan, a man not easily impressed. After the speech, in a private meeting, Schwab detailed his plan. He had absolute faith not only in the idea, but in his own ability to execute it. When J.P. Morgan asked for the price to buy out Andrew Carnegie's interests, Schwab named a figure so astronomical it was unheard of at the time. Morgan, who had been completely won over by Schwab's faith and vision, accepted. What was it that Schwab sold to Morgan? It was not just steel mills and railroads. It was an intangible idea. It was his faith. It was his desire. The combination of these intangible forces was transmuted into the largest corporation the world had ever seen. That idea was worth, at the time, more than $600 million. This story is a powerful testament to the fact that riches, and indeed all great achievements, begin with a state of mind. They begin as an intangible impulse of thought. Faith is what removes the limitations. It is the force that allows you to see the invisible, to believe in the incredible, and to achieve the impossible. Your mind will create whatever it is consistently instructed to believe. A person can achieve anything that they can truly conceive and believe. Therefore, see this quality of faith as the absolute foundation of your entire endeavor. Before you can achieve any goal of lasting value, you must first believe, without reservation, that you are capable of achieving it. You must see it as already accomplished in your mind's eye. This is the true meaning of faith. It is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. It is the spiritual force that gives life, power, and action to the impulse of your thought, and it is the second vital step on your journey to riches. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Matthew 6:33. May the Lord bless you and guide you in every good work.